Have you ever been to a national park? If you have, you know they're pretty cool. I myself have been to many national parks, and I wanted to research if they are overcrowded like I thought. And after doing this research, I found that I'm not alone with this idea that parks are becoming overcrowded and polluted. These parks have become a congested nightmare with more stress than relaxation when visiting these vacation destinations. In the beginning of the article, 8 Ways to Ease Overcrowding at National Parks, they put it very simply by saying, one big problem is there's too many of us. This leads to many other problems, like the problem of pollution. Pollution is under a big category of things that make the park worse. Pollution starts with the disposal of human waste. People like us have to, go to the bathroom. When you're going to the bathroom, you might go to the outhouse. When you're in the woods, there might not be one. What do? You go to the bathroom in the woods. This has become a problem in parks because so many people are there and the bathroom might be full. So someone's like, I'll just go out in the woods, but they don't do it properly and bury it. In the article, Crisis in Our National Parks by The Guardian, they also talk about this, as well as how a very frequently visited site is also a small town's water supply. With all these people going through this water supply to get to this frequently visited site, this leads to the pollution of the water. So the people are trying to do things to fix this. Another thing of pollution is vehicle pollution. And I found this in the visitor assessment of the mandatory alternative. Vehicle pollution is a big deal because people are sitting in their cars and they're driving around all these roads and there's so many people there. So there's just a lot of pollution happening. Lastly, with all this pollution, it leads to a lot of upkeep in the parks. And with the budget going down and all this other stuff, buildings and trails are not being kept up to standards. This is found in Bowdoin's National Parks, Too Much Love. So some solutions for this and these problems are limiting people in some capacity with supervision. These limits on the parks could be the leave no trace policy, public transport policy, and a reservation system for the parks. Public transportation is kind of the best one in my opinion, but Zion National Park does this, and it limits air and noise pollution in the parks. Plus, it polices visitors better to make sure they're not hurting themselves or attractions in the park. But it lacks funding, and this was found in the visitor assessment of the mandatory alternative. The reservation system in parks is a little less hectic, but more people do not get to go, which is a big problem, but it keeps people following the rules. And this was found in 8 Ways to Ease Overcrowding in National Parks. The thing that I'm not too sure about with this is people could be jerks and just schedule 10 times a year so that they can go as much as they want, but other people won't get to go because people are overscheduling. Lastly, there's the leave no trace policy, which is the modern nature approach, but not always followed. If it was always followed, the parks would be perfect because people wouldn't leave trash, they wouldn't go to the bathroom in the woods, they would basically just go visit and not hurt the environment around them. But this doesn't happen. But leave no trace, an idea in theory, is the best alternative to keep the parks good. So public transportation has a lack of freedom, and it has visitors have to pay. This is one of the big reasons why people do not want public transportation. This was found in the visitors' assessment of mandatory alternative. The thing is the good outweighs the bad in this. There's less pollution, and I feel like if you actually care about the parks, you wouldn't mind paying a little extra to go to these parks. The lack of Freedom Park kind of stinks, but I'm sure the parks will have many routes and many stops at all the cool places you can go at the parks. Leave no trace is the middle ground. It's a fairly new approach, but biologists praise it because of the protection towards the ecosystem. This is found in Turner on page 463. Should be a rule at all parks. It is a rule at all parks, but it's not always followed, like I said before. And then the limits on visitors. These visitors totals can reach tens of thousands a day. This is found in Crisis in National Parks. It also seems unfair and un-American to limit people in parks that we pay for with our tax money. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So the problem, and I do recognize the problem, is most of these cost money, and you don't want to pay for them. But what if we took a small percentage of the defense budget out of our taxes and put it towards the parks? I can't drive a tank. You most likely can't drive a tank. But you know what we both can do? We both can go enjoy our national parks. So why not improve what we can already use by giving it a little more funding to clean them up a little bit more, make them a little better, and the experience will be even better and not underwhelming like it is now. But like I said, leave no trace is the best option in these parks because it's free and it just trusts the people. In conclusion, be better, leave no trace. However, if public transportation or limits on people attending do happen, don't get upset because you know it's for quality control and it will be a better experience for everyone in the parks. It will also keep them cleaner and it'll just allow everyone to have a better time, like I said. So use the national parks, they are yours. A few changes can make a big difference. So let's protect them for our future use and our future generations' use. Thank you.